Wow, would you look at that?
Look at what?
We're only reviewing one game for this video, and it's not Mario related.
Oh. Is that not a regular thing?
Well, for me it's been like over a year and a half since something like this happened.
Seriously? Why'd it take so long for you to get out of that cycle?
I don't know, my schedule was really out of whack, and it just sort of happened that way.
And you needed the views?
No. Maybe. Okay. Now, for those that might not remember, over 3 years ago? Yeah, I wrote it down. I made a video talking about remakes of Mario games with one of my favorite gaming YouTubers of all time, Nintendrew. It was one of the most surreal and creatively fulfilling experiences of my career up to that point, and I figured that was probably going to be the only chance I got to do something with him, so I was just grateful for the opportunity. But then, while I was hastily deleting my search history one night, Drew decided to slide into my DMs and was like,
"Hey, here's a free copy of my game. Want to make a video about it?"
Yeah, so back in September, Drew released a game called C.A.R.L, which stands for Computer Automated Resource Locator. But he wasn't alone, because Drew also teamed up with his best friend Matt Bittner of Morningstar Game Studio to produce this little indie gem that we're going to be talking about today. And I knew that he was working on it for a while, and I was planning on getting it for myself. Just wish I'd gotten my hands on one of those plushies when I had the chance. He's a little guy. His head looks like a mailbox. But if Winston Zedmore from Ghostbusters taught me anything, it's that when one of your favorite YouTubers asks you if you want to play a game they made, you say, "Yes, I would like that very much." But Drew didn't just give me one download code, he gave me 3. Which means...
It's giveaway time! That's right. 2 of you lucky little goobers could receive a free copy of today's game. We have 1 code for Steam and 1 for the Nintendo Switch. If you want to learn more about how you can win this super special awesome giveaway, stay tuned until the end of the video. Seriously, stay until the end, need the watch time. Plus, I'll give you a cookie. Back to you, Marc.
Thanks, Marcy. You know, sometimes I can't help but roll my eyes when YouTubers make games, because the people usually don't have that much involvement with making them. And the games themselves aren't always very good. But Drew had almost everything to do with this game. He came up with the story, wrote most of the dialogue, programmed it, did all the art and animation, designed all the characters. This game is pretty much his baby. Just comes to show that if you're passionate about something, and happen to have a friend with expertise in the field of game development, you can make it a reality. Oh, and mild disclaimer here. Just because this game was given to me and made by someone I greatly admire, that doesn't mean I'm going to blindly praise every single aspect of it. I'm going to approach this game the same way I would with any other game, by telling you what I liked, what I didn't like, and by blatantly copying other YouTubers I watch. The game is still relatively new as well, so there won't be any major spoilers in this video. So, if you want to experience it for yourself, stay to the end of the video to find out how you can win a free code for Switch or PC. We're really hammering that in. Please stay. Oh, and play the game. It's actually pretty good. It opens with an inventor named Herman Brent sending a little robot named C.A.R.L to infiltrate the base of a mad scientist named Dr. James Kent. You find out later on that Herman and Kent used to be close friends and ran a robotics company together until Kent became corrupted and started weaponizing robots to create a mechanical army, forcing Herman out of the company. As you get farther along in the game, you learn more about how their relationship fell apart, beyond the whole Kent going mad with power thing, and where exactly C.A.R.L came from. I don't want to give anything away, but I will say that the story in general isn't anything groundbreaking, but nevertheless is still very entertaining. Drew said he took inspiration from games like Jazz the Jackrabbit and Super Paper Mario, but you can tell from playing this game that Drew is also a big cave story fan. C.A.R.L and Quote are both robots with very similar designs. There's even a picture of Quote in the Robo Bar next to Rob the Robot. Hey there. You got the dump standing in for Mamiga Village, you got the mad scientist, the good-hearted professor. The similarities are pretty clear, at least they were to me. What's interesting though is when Drew did a Reddit AMA about the game around the time of its release, he mentioned Cave Story was an influence in the gameplay department, but when asked about the story, he listed Portal, the Stanley Parable, and the Spy Kids movies?
Well, I wouldn't have expected that. But I guess borrowing from Spy Kids is just the hip new thing nowadays.
Well, it's not so much the story that draws me in as it is the characters and the writing. Like we said, Drew had pretty much everything to do with this game, including writing most of the dialogue. Sure, he forgot to put a period between the P and H in Sophie's name here, but I'm genuinely impressed that he was able to make every single character stand out and give them all unique personalities. Craig is easily my favorite. All he does is make terrible puns. He's basically me as a robot. There was a really violent movie on TV last night. It was truly a graphic display.
Don't tell me!
There's an 8-bit rim shot. Oh my god, I need to hear more. I think I might give my ex a call after all. I know I shouldn't, but I just can't resist her. I'm a sucker for this kind of humor.
It hurts so good.
You get an achievement for listening to his jokes. I'm in love with this game.
And don't you just love finding things that normally go unnoticed by most players? Like the briefings you find for Kent's soldiers in every level. Our lava reserves are starting to get gunked up with metal. Do your part to stop pollution. Well, it's good to know that this is an environmentally conscious evil army. And just to jump ahead a little bit, sometimes killing enemies will make them drop trading cards, each of a different character. Then, unless you died at the moment the card appeared, meaning you'd have to go around killing enemies again for who knows how long until it shows up again.
I'll never know whose card that was.
You can bring them to this guy named Doug, who's just a guy in a cardboard robot costume, and add the cards to his collection book.
The cards give you little descriptions of each character, including their likes and dislikes, and these were honestly pretty fun to read. Bart's dislikes include change, as in a departure from tradition, and change, as in loose coins. Bob likes walks on the beach and heart-shaped balloons, but hates being compared to fast food mascots. Yeah, that's not really fair. He looks more like one of those transforming toys that came with the Happy Meals. Oh wait, it's Grimace. Oh! Then we have Flip here, who apparently dislikes being tied down. So, he's a top?
Or maybe he just flips.
You don't even know what I was implying, do you?
Nope. And I get the feeling that's probably for the best.
Oh, you poor innocent child. How do you put up with me?
'Cause you make me laugh.
Well, at least someone's laughing. Anyway, now we know a little bit about C.A.R.L the character, but what about C.A.R.L the game? Well, it's a run-and-gun platforming shooter. It's not so much a side-scroller as Contra or Metal Slug, but really you're just running up and down and all around trying to solve puzzles and collect tech parts in order to beat each stage. Sometimes you can also find these green bonus parts, but you don't have to go out of your way to get them. Every level only requires you to find the 3 main parts before you can get to the goal. On the way, you might come across some stray robots and then invite them back to the dump, where all of Kent's rogue or unwanted machines are sent.
This also acts as the main hub area. It's broken up into 4 main sections with 5 stages apiece, all of which require a different number of tech parts to access. There are 4 normal levels, and then a boss level, where you're granted new abilities after beating them, like in Mega Man. Then you can use these powers to reach further parts of the facility, thus getting you further along in the game. Bosses also drop CDs with hidden music tracks. This happens with every single one of them, so is it really appropriate to call these tracks hidden?
Probably not. Well, in between stages, you can visit Madam, the fortune teller, and have her give you hints and tips on where to find certain things in each stage. Even after you already found them, so she doesn't really help you much with anything else. Kind of like a math teacher. Along with the tech parts, you can find a bunch of other goodies as well, all of which you can keep after dying in a stage. Except the tech parts. Enemies also drop scrap that you can use as currency, and if you have enough to spend, you can bring blueprints and health capsules to Doc to have him give you added enhancements and extend your life meter, and you can bring medals to the artillery to have Sarge upgrade your weapon strength. And when you're not getting drunk, changing colors, and trying to pick up chicks at the Robo Bar, you can bring CDs to the jukebox and listen to the game's soundtrack, which you definitely should because the music kicks many asses.
Wait, are those appliances playing poker?
Yes. Yes, they are.
That's hilarious!
You can also find these arcade parts in certain levels and bring them to this robot named ARPA to play some arcade-style minigames. There are 4 of them in all, but I only managed to unlock the first 3, which were all still pretty fun. You also get a lot of scrap for playing them, and though it's clearly coming out of the machines, I like to think ARPA is just throwing all the scrap at Carl's face. Ow, 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 ow. There's a Galaga clone called C.A.R.L, which I completely suck at, but that goes for the original Galaga too. There's a clone of Robotron 2084 called Carltron 2084, very clever. And this one was my personal favorite. You just run around, rescue all the good robots, and shoot down all the bad robots. Not of the J.J. Abrams variety. Oh, and there's also a Breakout clone called Arpanoid.
I didn't think we'd be talking about 2 Breakout games this year.
Me neither. But somehow this one's just a little bit buggier. The ball got stuck under the paddle here, in between the paddle and the wall here, and for whatever reason, the ball moves slower when I hit it from the side. It's like...
Wow. That's, pretty slow.
Yeah, let's just leave it in the corner for now and get back to it later. Okay, so while we're waiting, let's talk about Carl's controls, because they are simply divine. His movement is precise, there's no slipperiness, and response time is quicker than the attention span of an average TikTok user. Performing actions is also incredibly simple. You have 1 button to jump and another to fire your weapon. Then once you meet Harv, you can use scrap to buy 3 extra weapons from him. The grenade launcher, the rocket launcher, and the triple shot launcher. Carl's moveset expands farther beyond pointing at things and going pew pew pew. What with those new abilities you get from beating the bosses. You get a double jump that can later be upgraded to a triple jump. You get a ground pound, which can also release shockwaves that damage nearby enemies. You get a Mario 2 style charge jump. And my least favorite of the bunch, the dash.
Oh, like in Mega Man X?
Well, not exactly.
We need to stop spending so much time with Greg.
Never! But in Mega Man X, the dash was assigned to its own button. In this game, you perform it by quickly tapping the D-pad or the left stick in the direction you want to go. I found this pretty finicky and a little frustrating because there are so many buttons on the controller that end up going unused, so I think they should have put the dash on Y or B or even the triggers. But it's not, and this only really becomes a problem once the level design starts getting super intricate and throws a bunch of new stuff at you.
Ah, yes. For example, some stages have these canister up arrow things that give you an extra mid-air jump, and occasionally you'll be joined by a doppelganger that moves in the opposite direction as you, and if one of you dies, the other goes down with you. You don't have lives, so every time you die, you just restart from your last checkpoint. But sometimes the electricity might be on the fritz, so most checkpoints will be out of order.
And let me tell you, you don't know pain until you've died in places where the next checkpoint was right within reach. Speaking of pain, you might think that C.A.R.L seems like a pretty basic shooter when you start playing, but while Drew said he was influenced by games like Cave Story, there comes a point where he adds an extra ingredient to the concoction. Super Meat Boy. When I got to the second half of the game, the amount of time I spent trying to clear each stage began climbing higher and higher, and the number of deaths I suffered would often cap at just under 50 per level. Level 3-3 is a maze filled with giant mechanical spiders that kill you in one hit, if you even look at them funny. There are maps showing you where the spiders are going and where the tech parts are located, but they don't indicate where you are. So you have to pay attention to the layout and piece together where the spiders are coming from to figure your way out. But if you also don't mind the smaller spider bots that reverse your controls if they touch you, or the enemies disguising themselves as health capsules, levels like this can be fun little brain ticklers. But the 4th area will make you want to repeatedly slam your head into the nearest flat surface until your brain no longer functions. Ah, why did I film this bit so close to the stage? Level 4-2 and level 4-4 both have sections that require you to reach a very specific height and then use the dash to get over these instant kill spikes. But while 4-2 technically took me longer to beat because of the precise platforming and this gravity-based arrow puzzle that I spent roughly 15 minutes trying to figure out, all that was a box of Marcy's homemade snickerdoodles compared to 4-4.
Get 'em all you can! They're seasonal!
The 26 minutes of hell I had to endure to beat this stage was the absolute worst part of the game for me. Firstly, look at this. I have to hit a switch to open this door and then jump and dash through it without bumping into the wall and hitting these spikes. I looked back at the footage to count how many times I died during the stage, and I counted exactly 33, and just over 2/3 of them were from trying to get through this part. What's worse is I finally did get past it, but then I died before reaching the next checkpoint and had to go back and do this shit all over again. Then there's this part where I have to wait for the gravity to change and then dash through this gap as I'm falling toward the ceiling to reach this bonus part. And I would just keep hitting the wall or get too close to the ceiling because my inputs didn't register. Look, I totally should have made that. How was that not good enough? This is why the it made it. Oh, look, it's coming back down.
Wow!
This is why the dash should have had its own button, because double tapping in the direction I'm facing, particularly in sections like these, is incredibly awkward and excruciating.
Oh, like Black Adam.
I'm not ashamed to admit that this level broke me so badly, I actually almost cried from how frustrated I got, and that hardly ever happens to me. I get angry when playing video games sometimes, like who hasn't rage quitted while playing My Friend Peppa Pig? But not angry to the point of sobbing. Was it worth it in the end though? Well, because of the changing gravity, when I reached the exit, I touched it while I was upside down. So yeah, I guess that made it worth it. There's a particularly odd spike in difficulty when the bosses come into play, and that's only because the means of actually getting to them are almost always harder than the actual fights. Like in Gamma's level, I died exactly 49 times just trying to get to him. But while Gamma's behavioral patterns were busy, I still managed to take him down without dying once. That could have been because I maxed out my health meter and was able to take a few extra hits. But even with earlier bosses, it doesn't take much to beat them, because you can take them all down just by blindly shooting at them. And on a personal note, I thought the true final boss was a little anticlimactic. At least, I'm assuming it's the true final boss. Again, I don't want to give anything away, so play the damn game for yourself, meester!
They're all great characters, though. Charlotte might be the best of them, mainly because she's just straight up Mimi from Super Paper Mario.
I see what you're doing.
Charlotte does seem to have more of an independent nature than Mimi, and I admire that about her.
Well, there's nothing you can do to stop me from following you. It's a free clandestine facility. I do what I want.
Yeah, you tell him, sister. Now some grenades.
You see what I mean? You can just spam the fire button and take him down in less than a minute. Wait, what the? Chuck's health bar is completely empty!
And he's still alive!
But by the end of my playthrough, I got 18 out of 26 achievements, which apparently got me 69%. Hey, nice.
What? What's so special about the number 69? Is that your favorite number?
Okay, I don't know how you ended up so innocent, but I wish I had your childhood. There's apparently also a new game plus where you play through the whole adventure again with all the upgrades you've accumulated. Obviously I didn't have time to record it for this video, but I'll definitely need to give it a shot someday. C.A.R.L truly is one of those games that stops pulling its punches the more time you put into it. The knowledge you gained will truly be put to the test, and though my desk is going to need years of therapy to recover from the amount of times I've slammed it out of frustration, overcoming challenges never felt impossible. 1 or 2 levels nearly brought me to the brink of tears, but it makes it all the more rewarding when you manage to get all the tech parts and reach the goal. More so if you found all the extra stuff. It's tricky, but reasonable, and what I admire most about C.A.R.L, and the reason why I wanted to keep playing despite the tantrums thrown along the way, is that it's also completely devoid of cynicism and pretentiousness.
Drew said he conceived the game as a love letter to some of his favorite games. And you really feel that passion bleeding out of every orifice. That's what makes the indie gaming scene so charming. You get a couple pricks here and there that only care about winning awards and stuff and think they're better than everyone else.
Brr, brr, coughing noises. Oh, sorry. I had a Phil fish stuck in my throat.
But when something like C.A.R.L comes along, it's because the people that made it love what they do and want to share that love with the rest of the world. And there's something kind of beautiful about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing I haven't played before, but I tend to find more to appreciate in games that prioritize fun over innovation.
You know you're dealing with some true like-minded individuals when you notice things like the Star Rod, the Mega Buster, Shovel Knight's shovel, and Samus's arm cannon in the artillery. The nerdum is present as early as the first 5 minutes. When C.A.R.L was going up the tube and taking a comically long time to get to the top, in the dirt, you can see a Minecraft skeleton, a companion cube. I think that's Freddy Fish over there. And, so this must be where dead memes are buried. I also love how every time you start a level, the music's really quiet and only playing the treble, but then gets louder and clearer when C.A.R.L puts his headphones on, as if we're listening to it along with him. I don't know what it is about music and video games playing through a character's headphones, but it's just such a great detail. I didn't even notice until Drew mentioned it in the AMA that some elements are even synced up with the music, like C.A.R.L's idle animation and some of the enemies and hazards.
And, you know, for a game made by just 2 people, the overall quality is pretty high. Though it's not without a few quirks. Don't get me wrong, those tube physics are truly next-gen, as the trailer boasts. But aside from the glitches I pointed out in the Breakout minigame, and this one instance in the first level where I jumped up over the ceiling, ran around, and then died somehow, I guess he just got lost and gave up, most of the bugs I came across were present in the 3rd and 4th areas. I would die because of awkward collision detection. I would bounce off a spring and get stuck on the side of a moving platform. I would walk past the edge of the screen and the camera wouldn't move to show where I am. I would get stuck in this weird anti-gravity section where C.A.R.L would be pulled up and down at the same time. I would die at a certain part of the level and then the music would fade out and just not play at all when I respawned.
Alright, I think they get the idea.
Okay, sorry. What we're trying to say is that C.A.R.L is a great game, and well worth your time, money, and patience. Hi! Did you skip past the rest of the video and stop here because you saw the word giveaway in the preview window? Well, shame on you! Go back, let it play, watch it, then come back and see how you can win a free copy of this game. Did you do it? Yes? No? Well, either way, here's Marcy with the details. Psst, Marcy!
Huh? Oh, yeah! So, we're giving away 2 free download codes. One for the Steam version, and one for the Switch version. To enter the giveaway, all you have to do is go to our Discord server and post your best Craig-worthy dad jokes in the C.A.R.L giveaway text channel. The ones that make us laugh, or groan, the most will win. Oh, and be sure to tell us your platform of choice before entering. We don't want anyone winning a code for a Switch game when they don't have a Switch, you know?
Well, even if you don't win the giveaway, we'd still recommend you check this game out. Not only is it available for Steam and Nintendo Switch, but also for PlayStation and Xbox. There'll be links to their storefronts in the description, and to anybody that doesn't win the giveaway, but still makes Marcy laugh, you're providing a public service because you would have saved the lives of millions of people. Like, watch this. Hey, Marcy.
Yeah.
You know, I was up all night wondering where the sun went, but then it dawned on me. Oh, look at that! He can walk again!
It's a miracle!
Hey, what did the grape say when it was stepped on?
What?
Nothing. It just let out a little whine. Can you tell we couldn't think of an ending for this?
I mean, we tried. That's what's important, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when my son told me to stop impersonating a flamingo, I had to put my foot down.
I love that one. Have you ever heard this one? Is that, I went to the zoo today, but they only had one animal, and it was a dog. It was a Shih Tzu.
Okay, we're not going to torture you with any more dad jokes. Let's just wrap things up. So thanks for watching, everybody. And as always, we have to give a very special thank you to our superstar supporters, Red Rack, Henry Newman, Rachel Rodriguez, and Jake Winans. Yes, I'm thanking them twice this month because I didn't get a video out in October. So there you go. Sorry about that. Life has just been crazy right now. I still want to keep making these videos because if I don't, then Marcy's going to be all alone, twiddling her thumbs, not really knowing what to do, and I don't want to do that to her. So while my personal life is kind of taking more of my time and attention right now, these videos are still going to come out whenever they're done. I'm especially really excited about this year's Christmas video. It's not going to be as big or as strenuous as the Mario and Luigi video last year. That was a mistake. I'm proud of that video, but I'm never doing that to myself again. But this year, it should be pretty exciting. It's related to something that was supposed to happen during the month of December, but got pushed back, so I'm gonna have to do something else to take its place, and thankfully, I have just the thing. If you know me, you guys can probably guess what it's gonna be related to. Obviously, it's another Mario video because that's tradition, but yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Honestly, though, I can just sit here and tell Marcy dad jokes all night, but yeah, have fun with the giveaway, everybody. We can't wait to read all of your terrible but hilarious dad jokes. I don't have a specific time limit for how long the giveaway is going to go on for. I'm guessing, depending on when this video comes out, it'll probably be like a week or so. So, yes, that's it. Have fun with the jokes. We can't wait to read them. And until we meet again, this is Mark.
And Marcy.
Bidding you all a smashing farewell. We had a lot of fun here, in case you couldn't tell. And we hope you guys did too. Be cool, behave, be safe. Oh, and happy Thanksgiving as well.
The most forgotten holiday.
So, have a safe Thanksgiving, and we'll see you guys later.
See ya!